I almost quit this business twice. It's not because I don't love fragrances, but because I was doing everything right and still losing money and losing the fragrance game. Everybody buys designer fragrances, but no one ever sells them. And that's what has always amazed me. This is a billion-dollar industry hiding in plain sight. Most people have no idea how it really works, how money is made, how money is lost, and how some people survive and other people just poof, disappear. My name's Christian. I've been in the industry since 1996. I've seen some companies make fortunes. I've seen some individuals lose their whole life savings. I've watched beginners and hustlers start trying to sell fragrances and fail for reasons that they never understood. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 quick tips right off the bat. If you ever thought about selling fragrances, tip number 1 is do not buy what you like. It's not about you, it's about your client. Number 2 is never buy heavy on inventory without proof of selling the inventory. Number 3 is relationships with distributors matter more than the price you get. Don't be a price shopper. And number 4 is most sales come from repeat customers. And 5 is inventory isn't the enemy. Emotional decisions is the enemy. If you stay with me throughout this video, I'll show you how business evolved from the 90s when the internet explosion happened, the fragrance net, the fragrance X's, Joma shops, and all the relationships and the anchors they use to get you through the door and the tricks and stuff and how they get the fragrances so cheap and if they're authentic and all that good stuff, and a new explosion from 2018 to 2021 all the way up till today, 2026. When clones took over, sellers made more money than ever. And the big moment that I'm going to show you is how the corporations are taking that over as well. So we start back into the 90s when back when I was a kid, I first smelled my first fragrance, and for some reason it locked in memories and identity. It made me feel confident, and that stuck. When I started working for a fragrance company, I made beginner mistakes. I was buying the popular stuff that I liked. If I liked it, you should like it too, was my brain mentality. I filled the shelves for my boss with bottles I believed in, which is a good way for your client. If you own a shop, if your worker loves Paris Hilton, for example, or whatever, Armani Accadizio, let him sell it. Order them for him. He'll push them. But that's just like one item. You're not supposed to do that in general, especially as a beginner. That's how I learned the painful truth. Shelves can be stocked full while cash flow is empty. And this is the biggest lie. There is a lie almost every new seller believes. If they stock great fragrances, they will sell themselves. It sounds logical. It feels safe, but it's all wrong. You can't do it like that. So if great fragrances don't guarantee sales, what does make someone buy? This is the part nobody will explain to you ever in your life. The part that separates survivors from the people who vanish in 6 months to a year. This is the part, it's emotions. People think that buying fragrances with logic makes sense, but it's the most emotional product in all of retail history. It's a season of their life. It's a scent that reminds them of a person, your boyfriend, your grandpa, whatever. A fragrance isn't bought with the brain. It's bought with the memory and identity. Am I going to smell better? Am I going to be noticed? Will the secretary, say something to me? Fragrance enthusiast is a different DNA of a person. When you have an enthusiast as a buyer, if you can identify one, if you're a seller, then you have some little pieces of gold and diamonds there. I've had customers walk into the retail store I worked at, spending $5,000, spending $2,000, buying whatever their wife wants, charging everything. Even a 7-year-old kid got a bottle of Jean Paul Gaultier back in the early 2000s. Even the 12-year-old kid bought Issey Miyake. And I said, that's for your dad? They go, no, that's for me. And that was funny. So they buy with passion. The enthusiast is a completely different person than everyone else, and they are out there. Now, back in 1996, to understand this business, you go back to 1996. Everything ran on anchors and emotional magnets. Acqua di Gio was the most popular fragrance back then, and the stores would advertise it. The stores, not like Macy's, talking about discount stores. This video will focus on the discount store boom era all the way. We compare with Macy's, we compare everything in the USA, a little bit of Canada. So Acqua di Gio, they would put it for $49. Maybe it cost them $54. They use it as an anchor because once the customer trusts you, the real business begins. They get you in the door, you buy that, you might have more stuff. That's in live selling. It goes the same way for internet selling. Here's something the public almost never understood. The same bottle has different prices all over the world. In Europe, a designer fragrance might cost $28. And there's a perfect example of this. If you know, there's a Yves Saint Laurent Bleu Electrique La Nuit. It's discontinued. Can't find it in USA. But in Europe, it's all over the place for $40 or $60, $70. And here, it demands a $200 average internet price. So that's just one example of a discontinued fragrance, but on a larger scale in the Europe market, the US retail could be $120. Online, you might see it for $59. How does this happen? Because these big corporations buy in Europe, ship to the US, and that's called regional arbitrage. If you don't understand arbitrage, you'll understand why Fragrance Net is the largest discount fragrance company in the USA. Fragrance X is up there. Joma Shop is up there, but they sell mostly $800 million of watches like Rolex because of the new Rolex trend, but they do have a nice grab on the fragrance as well. And I'll tell you some more companies as this video goes on. The inventory access matters more than branding at scale. Here are the three giants of discount fragrances. Joma Shop. They, like I just said, they're $1 billion a year business because of their luxury watches. Fragrance Net, the largest fragrance retailer with over $600 million of massive inventory and sales per year. Fragrance X is a lot smaller. They probably make $100 million a year, and a lot of loyal customers they have there. Loyalty wins. The inventory access, not branding. They have access to inventory fast and furious, and they know how to price it for their customers. This is why you cannot compete with prices if you start this business. Section 2000 to 2015, the discontinued fragrance gems gold rush. Before TikTok, before YouTube, the same patterns existed, just slower. I watched $20 bottles of Kenneth Cole RSVP suddenly sell out in one day, like on our eBay site or Amazon site, and I instantly identified it. It must be something going on because nobody was influencing in 2005 yet. And they became rare overnight. There was lots of Issey Miyake flankers, YSL flankers, Carolina Herrera, some of the coolest that would just overnight start selling. And even Creed Ventus did that in 2012 and 13, just started selling like crazy. The Z01 batch, like 80 units in 1 week. And this is a $400, $300 fragrance back then. One listing on eBay could change your entire week. So you greedy bastards who wait to try to sell your discontinued Yves Saint Laurent for $500, speed beats greed, because I'll find it for $100 and sell it for $180 because there's the eBay listing fees and all the other kinds of fees associated with it. But that's how I would do it. And you guys can just look at yours, and mine will be sent to the fragrance enthusiast. Section 2018 through 2021, the TikTok shockwave. And in 2018, everything changed. TikTok, YouTube created a shockwave. For the first time in history, small retailers, small sellers, small mom and pop shops, WordPress site shops, Shopify sites could start a fragrance company with a few $1,000s because they loved fragrances and just buy clones. Clones are like Arabian, they're fragrance companies that match the DNA of popular fragrances like this or this, and they make a name for it, and usually an Arabic name, and people identify that as, oh, this smells just like YSL and it's only $30. And back then there was zero competition, and one 10-second video clip could blow out an entire warehouse of that stuff. So price war had to be reset because gold rushes don't last. Fragrance.com comes in, Perfume.com comes in, and every other Fragrance Net subsidiary. I know you have those names. They bought in bulk, forced the prices down, and to this day, the $30 item that you are buying from Lattafa can now be found for $18. For example, Lattafa is one of the largest Middle Eastern fragrance companies that they call clone houses. It's not illegal, it's just they know how to perfume fragrances that cost $180 and make them the same smell with the same longevity. Very close, not the same, and they name it something and they bottle it in a different bottle. So in case you've never heard of Arabian fragrances, that's what people call them. Now, when the prices dropped to $18 for Lattafa's and all that, which is now current date, the counterfeiters come in. The counterfeiters have been around since those early days of 2000. It's terrible. And they had terrible quality, and they're getting better, but not in the quality. The price wars begin, the counterfeits follow. Fake Baccarat Rouge for $20 isn't a deal, it's a trap. Facebook Marketplace, offer up, even whatnot, even flea markets are flooded with fakes. And I don't mean clones, I mean people, mostly overseas companies, make the exact color bottle, exact box, but they're cheaper caps or cheaper spray. Inside is basically water, but you will get to smell it for the 5 minutes that you're standing in front of their booth or whatever. Some look close, some smell close, but none are real. This is why trust matters in fragrance selling, why relationships matters in fragrance selling. Inventory is not the enemy. Misunderstanding your inventory is. A bottle on the shelf is not a loss if you're just looking at it, except for you greedy people that are trying to sell it for $500 and it's frozen YSL. It's money frozen in glass, waiting for the right moment. There are three kinds of inventory. The anchor, which is like someone buying the most popular Carolina Herrera or Parfums de Marly and trying to sell it at cost or below cost, which can be dangerous. There's margin and there's patience. So margin is just like they have an accounting formula for their entire inventory and they tack on 15%. They don't care because they have $75 million of inventory earning 15% daily. What do they care? They make $10,000, $20,000 a day. Beginners only understand anchors and they think that these are the best sellers and they love it to find it for 20 in the fake marketplaces and they think they're going to beat Macy's or Joma's shop. Is not going to happen. So fragrance breaks retail rules because fragrances do not behave like other retail categories. There's low returns, there's low defects, and there's high emotional value, consistent demand, almost like a commodity. Very few products offer this. Why the most sellers fail? Because they fail because of ego, impatience, price wars, no relationships, emotional buying, and pricing. And I mean like people who just stepped in the market. I've seen them come in the malls with their kiosk and or do other kinds of competition selling in malls back in the day, and they would just not last. The price wars never win. And another thing, the human truth, fragrance is human. It connects people, it carries memories, it's moments and times. Because if you understand people, you understand everything. And do not underestimate that some people will drop you like a horse for a $1 off fragrance. They could have been buying from you since 1997, and then you have $1 discount and they go buy from the other guy. And here's the part that's uncomfortable. This error, this mistake, it's wiping people out who start these businesses to this day right now. Please let me know in the comments what you dislike most about these online retailers, because the biggest winner in this industry are not the ones with the best prices, are not the ones with the fanciest websites, the most expensive inventory. The winners are the ones that know what to buy before everyone else realizes it matters. You don't make money following trends. You make money predicting and creating those trends. If you want real edge, track what people complain about, not what they praise. That's how you make the money. When a fragrance gets discontinued, they complain. When a batch changes, people complain. When projection drops, people complain. Complaints tell you where all the demand is going, not reviews, not hypes, complaints. So if you want the ultimate shortcut, here's the formula. Find a fragrance people are angry they can't get, and get it before they calm down. That's where the real money is. That's where you can have your advantage, and that's how you stay 3 steps ahead. Fragrance is not about the memory, but the business. It's not anticipation. Understand people, and you'll always understand this industry. And if you want to understand how to select your own very own fragrance for yourself, just watch this video next.